In this video, Jeremy Diamond, a reporter with CNN, is asking Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, how much is too much? When should you just stop this war? You've killed so many people. He goes on to quote the Gaza Ministry of Health. Let's watch this video.
More than 40,000 Palestinians have now been killed in Gaza, a majority of whom are civilians. And these numbers are from the Palestinian Ministry of Health, but they are backed up by the United States, by international organizations. Humanitarian conditions in Gaza have degraded so much that diseases like polio and hepatitis A are now spreading. We have seen countless children be orphaned. We have seen countless mothers lose their children. How much is too much, sir? At what point is it time to end this war?
Well, we'll end the war when we achieve our war goals of making sure that Hamas can't repeat such atrocities. But we're fighting this war in a just war with just means. In fact, with means that no other army has ever fought. No other army has taken the precautions that Israel has taken, sometimes at great risk, to make sure that we minimize the number of casualties. You talked about polio. We enabled now massive vaccination of polio. We want 90% of the Gazan people of Gaza vaccinated. I think 200,000 I think were vaccinated today. We've put in 1 million tons of food, 1 million tons of aid, 700,000 tons of food. That's unheard of. We've taken, because we think that every civilian death is a tragedy. For Hamas, every civilian death is a strategy. For us, it's a tragedy. There are 1.4 million people in Gaza. They moved from the north to the south. You're going to have thousands, 20,000 killed. You're going to have a catastrophe, a humanitarian catastrophe. They have no place to go, no food to eat. Now report honestly, because here's what happened. They all left. They went to the humanitarian zone, which is 2 miles away, less, on the beach. They have tents. We supplied tents for 150,000 people. The aid agencies supplied the rest, and some of them carried their own tents. They have a place. We supplied water lines, sewage lines, food. There's more to be done, medical. So now we know how many people were killed, how many terrorists, because we counted them. And we just passed 2,000. Terrorists, body counts of terrorists. The people left. How many civilians died? I asked the commander of the division that did the Rafah operation and the Philadelphia corridor. He said, Prime Minister, there are hardly any civilian deaths because everybody left. They heeded our warnings. But he said there were probably 24, and most of them occurred, 24, and most of them occurred when one of our bombs hit a Hamas ammunition depot that was planted inside a residential area. 40 people died, about 20 were terrorists, but 20 were civilians. And he said that's most of the deaths. That's the lowest ratio of non-combatants to combatants in the history of urban warfare. That's it. Now report honestly, because you accused us of something that is outrageous. And in fact, the accusations against us are outrageously false. Humanitarian aid? 1 million trucks of aid, 1 million tons of aid? 700,000 tons of food? A deliberate starvation policy? You can say anything. Doesn't make it true. You repeat a lie over and over and over again. It assumes the cachet of self-evident truth, but it's false. Israel is doing, and the Israeli army is doing, something that no other army has done in history and will continue to do that. I'm not going to change my policies. Humanitarian policies, vaccination policies, combat policies to minimize civilian casualties.
I mean, there's a couple things that are on my mind. One is how the numbers can be so far off of what's being reported in the news and then what Netanyahu is saying. He says 40 were killed. They're saying thousands of civilians, tens of thousands. Those are not even close. So I mean, I don't know how you can be so far away. That margin is just so off. And secondly, What other nation ever, which is at war with a different country, supplied aid for the civilians in that country? You're at war. He's supplying tents for the civilians of Gaza. He's supplying food and vaccinations. We didn't do that for the Germans in World War II. The Brits didn't do that for the Germans in World War II. What about Vietnam? Did we do that? We're coming at their neck. We're coming at Israel's neck, but they're at a war, a just war, because their people were slaughtered. The most Jews in one day since the Holocaust were slaughtered on October 7th. You want to know how this war stops? Give back every single hostage. Every single one. There's still hostages there. So don't get up there, CNN, and start asking, don't you think it's time to stop? Well, why don't you go to Hamas and ask them, don't you think it's time to give back the hostages? Because that's where it starts.